Henry David Thoreau is a 19th century author. He was born in Concord, Massachusetts. He was born July 2nd, 1817, and he died May 6th, 1862. He was a teacher in his early career. Upon being told that he had to use disciplinary actions on his students, he decided to resign from the public sector and opened his own private school, which he ended up having to close later on due to health concerns from his brother. And he ended up becoming an author. Obviously, we're studying him in American literature. He's most known for writing Walden, or Life in the Woods. It's most commonly referred to as just Walden, so that is what I will be referring it to throughout the rest of this report. The book Walden is about social experimentation on living like a simple life and self-reliance and that sort of thing. It follows Thoreau when he decided to just kind of like pick up his life, and he built a cabin on his friend's property and lived there for 2 years and 2 months. He notably was a mile from any neighbor and lived his own life, just kind of like without influence from the outside world. It was a scientific experiment, so to speak, because not only does the novel use poetic and literary devices that we're all familiar with in other stories and readings that we've had in this course, but he also uses a lot of scientific observation. One of my sources argues that his work places him squarely in the world of science of his time because of the way that he observes nature and writes about it in such a scientific fashion. It was as if he was doing his big own experiment, which really he was. So it's a very important thing to think about as you read, because it helps you see the book not only from a literary point of view but also a scientific point of view. Overall, the story is about self-reliance and kind of living a simpler life. Thoreau talks about how life is just meant for you to live it. One of my favorite quotes that I read was, "However mean your life is, meet it and live it. Do not shun it and call it hard names. It is not as bad as you are. It looks poorest when you are richest. The fault finder will find faults even in paradise. Love your life, poor as it is." He really hits on how if you're waiting to live your life till it's amazing, then you're never going to live your life, because there's always going to be something to go wrong. Because when you're the richest, you're also the poorest, and when you're the poorest, you're also the richest. There's this like counteracting balance that just never really evens it out. So you always have to live your life, and you don't need to rely on other things. You shouldn't be relying on having the best clothes or the best house. It's best to just live your life, whatever state that your life is in. Oh, sorry, cameo from the dog. One of my other favorite quotes from, pardon her. One of my other favorite quotes from Walden is this. It's, "The universe is wider than our views of it." I think it really encapsulates Thoreau's entire idea of what he was trying to get at and say in his story, because even throughout everything else, I think that is what should stand in what he was saying, because that, I feel like that really just sums up his whole point. So in conclusion, I think that Walden and Thoreau's life is a very good example of how you should live your life not expecting to have everything, but to be self-reliant and to work on yourself and never be completely satisfied, but never waiting to be satisfied.